You know, in the tech world, some stories get whispered about long, long before they're ever confirmed. And today, we're digging into one of those whispers, a potential superphone from Nokia, a device that has the internet absolutely buzzing with all sorts of conflicting reports.
All right, so let's get right into it. The big question we're trying to answer today is pretty simple. Is this Nokia NX Pro 5G for 2025 a real, honest-to-goodness flagship that's on its way, or is it just, well, a phantom cooked up from online speculation?
And that's what makes this so interesting. As of right now, Nokia hasn't officially said a single word about this phone. All we have to go on are leaks, rumors, and this one render, which isn't even for the Pro. It's for a similar model, the Nokia NX 5G. It honestly feels like we're hunting for a ghost in the machine.
So, let's play detective, shall we? We're going to sift through the clues, piece together the evidence we found from all around the world, and see if we can build a clear picture of this very elusive device.
Our investigation kicks off in Bangladesh. Why there? Well, a site called Spectacoder published a super detailed profile. This gives us our very first solid, though, unofficial, look at what the Nokia NX Pro could actually be.
And whoa, what immediately jumps out here is the sheer power these specs are promising. I mean, a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset, a massive 16 gigs of RAM, and a huge 6,000 mAh battery. This isn't just a phone, it's a beast. This profile paints a picture of a true, top-of-the-line flagship contender. But just when we think we've got a clear image, our investigation takes a sharp turn. Let's head over to our next set of clues, coming out of the Middle East, and you'll see how this new information really starts to, complicate things.
So, a source from Saudi Arabia, Assured Zone, is describing a very different phone. First off, notice the processor. A Snapdragon 8 x Gen 1, that's an older chip. The battery is smaller at 5,000 mAh, but the charging is way faster at 100 watts. The display's bigger with a faster refresh rate. It's a completely different setup.
And just to make it even more confusing, a third source that's aimed at Arab markets gives us another variation. Here, we're seeing a 5,100 mAh battery, 66-watt wired charging like the first source, but now they're adding 30-watt wireless charging to the mix. The plot just keeps thickening.
So what happens when you put all of these different clues right next to each other? Well, you get a spec showdown. It is time to lay all of this conflicting evidence out on the table and see what's going on.
And this table just illustrates the puzzle perfectly. I mean, just look at the display row. 3 different sizes, 2 different refresh rates. The chipset, one is a whole generation behind the other. And the battery and charging specs are just all over the map. So how can one phone have 3 completely different identities?
This brings us to the verdict. But, and this is important, the goal here isn't to pick a winner and say, this report is the right one. The real mission is to figure out why these stories are so different and what that actually tells us about the truth.
Okay, so here's the key. We're dealing with what are called speculative leaks. And once you get that, the chaos starts to make a little more sense. We could be looking at different versions for different regions, Or maybe some sources are confusing the NX Pro with the regular NX model. And of course, it's also possible some of this info is just flat out wrong. So if we filter out all that noise, what's the common ground? This is what really matters. All the sources are pointing to a premium phone with a powerful Snapdragon processor, 5G, a big, fast AMOLED display, and some serious fast charging. This is the likely DNA of whatever high-end phone Nokia decides to release next.
Which leaves us with one final and kind of fun question. We've looked at the clues, we've decoded the rumors, but until Nokia actually makes an official announcement, we're all just left waiting and wondering. So, will the real Nokia NX Pro please stand up?